Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing this vintage Hollywood Glam look that is inspired by two of some of my favorite actresses from back in the day, Grace Kelly and Doris Day. They were beautiful ladies. I had a request to do a look like this, but don't worry if red is not your color. I'm also going to show you this deep plum lip look as an alternative, and this is a great color for the end of summer as we go into fall and winter as well. So let's get started with the most important step, which is lip preparation. So I'm going to be using this Dr. Brandt 3D Lip Plumfix. This was sent to me by Dr. Brandt through Octoly to try out. And this black side is what you are supposed to put on your lips at night. So this is a two-part system. You apply this to the lips and around the edge of the lips. And what it says it's supposed to do is plump your lips, restore hydration, nourish lips so that they look plumper, and it's supposed to visibly improve definition, smooth lip lines, and aid in product wearability. So you can see after applying that, it kind of makes the lips look a little bit shiny, but within about 15 minutes, this soaks in, and it does a nice job of making the lips look and feel smoother, but this was not enough on its own for me at nighttime. So you can see this is after 15 minutes, and by morning, if I did not go over it with another lip moisturizer, my lips would be kind of dry. So even though it did provide some smoothing effect, I didn't feel like it was conditioning enough alone. The blue side is what you are to apply in the morning, so I'm going to go ahead and apply that now and let that soak in while I do the rest of the makeup. And much in the same way, you just apply it to your lips. It's kind of becomes clear. It looks kind of white when it comes out, but it's clear. It soaks in. There is a slight little bit of a plumping tingle, but hardly noticeable at all. And it does, again, make the lips look smooth and moisturized, and my lipstick did go on well after, but I really didn't feel like there was a huge difference in how everything wore through the day. So that's just my take on that. But now we're going to go ahead and go into the eyes, and I am using the Lorac Behind the Scenes Eyeshadow Primer, and then I'm also going to pair it with this Sigma eye base primer in the shade Ignite. Because I want a little bit of coverage on the lid, you could use concealer instead of this Sigma eyeshadow base if you don't have that. And I'm using this really soft P82 brush from Sigma to blend that base all over the eyelid. Next, I'm going to apply my foundation, and I'm using one of my favorites, the IT Cosmetics Confidence in a Compact. I chose this because I want my skin to look really fresh and dewy. Now, I am going to powder, but as the day goes on, the dewiness comes back from this. And this is just a beautiful foundation. I'm using the combination of the shades Light and Medium Tan because my fake tan is fading at this point, so I'm mixing the two shades and I'm blending it in with the Morphe M439. And I really like to just work that foundation into the skin, press it into the hairline, make sure it's blended down the neck. And then I'm going to take the P82 and just blend around the edge into the inner corner there and take that through the brows just to get out any excess foundation. Now I'm going to take the Kat Von D powder and this Real Technique setting brush just to set the brows and my eyelid because my eyelids were a little bit tacky. And now I'm going to go into one of my all-time favorite palettes, the Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I'm using this huge, large fluff E50 brush from Sigma to put the shade Tempura all along the brow bone. And then I'm also going to apply a good amount of that onto the lid. So I'm not really taking this through the crease because it has a little bit of a pearly sheen, but I am putting it all over the lid and the brow bone. Now I'm taking a combination of Warm Taupe and Raw Sienna on the M504, and I'm really, really lightly blending this through the crease. I almost want it to be imperceptible because as looking at the old Hollywood Glam photos, Doris Day, Grace Kelly, you could hardly even see any eyeshadow whatsoever. So I just want the hint of a shadow right through the crease just to give my eyes a little bit of definition. But this is definitely not a look about the eyes. It's all about the lips. So to provide a little more definition along the lash line, I'm using Cypress Umber on this stiff angled brush by Morphe. It's the M165. And I am just pressing that right into the lash line. And I am not winging this out because otherwise that would make it too modern of a look. But I just want a slight little lift on the outer corner of my eye, and I want a little more thickness along the lash line. So take your time. Don't go overboard and apply this too thick. But again, just kind of press that right into the lashes. And you can see the difference between that right eye and the left eye, how it just adds a little lift and dimension there. Now I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. smudge brush and a combination of warm taupe and raw sienna. And I am just going to connect that line to the outer corner of the shadow that we put in the crease. So again, you really don't even hardly want to see this. It's just going to add a little bit of a shadow there, and you can see the difference. And then go back with the large fluff brush, the E50, and making sure the lid is nice and bright. And then after cleaning up under the eye, I'm going in now with concealer. And so I'm applying first the Bobbi Brown Serum Corrector, and then I am going to go over that with my two favorite concealers, the Photo Ready Candid Concealer from Revlon in the shade Light, and then the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Concealer. I just put a tiny little bit of that. It's a darker shade, and the two combined just create my perfect formula and shade of concealer. So blending that in with my fingers, just keep pressing and pressing and looking up. That's the best way to keep it from creasing. And now I'm going in with this new palette. It's the Natasha Nona Bloom palette. And look at that bright blush. It's a cream blush, and you can see how pigmented that blush is. The first time I used this, I got way too much on my brush and I was blending out forever. So I am just starting off with the tiniest little bit, blending that in with my finger. And I want just a nice rosy flush to the cheeks. So you'll see me layer this just 2 times, and then knowing that I was going to go over it with highlighter and powder, I knew I would be kind of diffusing that color a little bit. So I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filter because, of course, we're doing a Hollywood Glam look. So I thought this was appropriate. And this is in the shade number 4. And again, just wanting to add a nice glow to the face without shimmer. And this is just a really, really nice soft highlighter. And then for me, I need to powder. So I'm going in with the Peach Perfect Mattifying Loose Setting Powder. And I am using the Sigma F30 brush. I am loving this brush. It's so soft and applies powder so beautifully to the skin. So I'm just pressing that in, and then I will kind of blend it out. And then under the eyes, I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder, and I'm using the Sedona Lace 313 just to press the tiniest little bit of that under the eyes. And there's really no contouring or bronzing, hardly noticeable, but I just added a tiny little bit to the back of my cheeks. This is the Bare Minerals Warmth Bronzer, and I'm using the Eco Tools full powder brush, and you can see I'm just adding the tiniest amount. So no contouring today, just that little bit of bronzer. For eyebrows, I'm using the NYX Precision Brow Pencil in the shade Taupe, and they don't have Instagram brows for sure, but they did have their brows filled in and rather full looking, but keeping it really soft at the front. So instead of squaring off the front like I'm normally doing, I'm just keeping that front really rounded and nice and soft. So going through first with this pencil. And then I'm going to go through with the Anastasia Brow Powder Duo. And this is just the Tarte Brow Brush. And I'm using the darker shade through the back part of the brow, just again to make it look nice and soft and fluffy. And then using that lighter shade there at the front just to blend it a little bit further. And those are done. Now I'm going to do just the tiniest little bit of nose contour. I thought about making my nose look like a cute little button nose like Doris Day, but decided against that. So just did a little contouring, and now I'm adding a tiny little bit more glow with the Laura Mercier Matte Radiance Highlighter in Highlight 01, and using the Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighting brush to do that. So no shimmer, no sparkles, just a little bit of light and glow to the top of the cheeks, the bridge of the nose, the Cupid's bow, and then I'll put just a tiny little bit above the eyebrows there. And then I'll take a little bit on my finger and add a little more brightness in the inner corner. And then just blend that out with the Sigma E50. I am going to apply my mascara. I'm going to first curl the lashes. It didn't look like either of the ladies were wearing false lashes, so I did apply a good amount of mascara but didn't go overboard. So I'm using the Origins Underwear for Lashes Primer first on the upper lashes, and then going over it with the IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. Now the trick is, when you're not wearing hardly any eyeliner or eyeshadow, is not to get mascara on your upper lid. So I was really trying to be careful not to get any of those mascara oops up there that I would have to try and scrub off. So I think I was pretty successful, but just take your time. I did go in with a second coat just to make my lashes look even fuller and slightly longer. And you can see what a difference mascara makes. And then I'm going in on the lower lash line with the Thrive Cosmetics Lash Extensions Mascara. And I'm just, again, trying to go very lightly so I don't get any of this to transfer down on my skin. Now my lips, you can see they look nice and smooth and slightly plumper. So I think that Dr. Brandt stuff is good. I'm just not quite sure it's worth the price tag. So for this first look, I'm starting off with the NYX lip liner in the shade Deep Red. And it's actually a pretty bright red, but not nearly as bright as the lipstick that I'm going to apply over it. And this is the YSL lipstick. This is a little mini sample I think I got from Sephora, and this is the shade 01. And look at how bright that color is. Oh my goodness. But to me, this is Hollywood Glam. So again, just applying that. I do like the quality of this lipstick, but I don't like the scent. Now, after getting lipstick on, I always, especially a bright lip, I like to go back and add a little blush. So I'm using the Thrive Cosmetics Strobing Blush in the shade Angelina and my little Spotlight Duster brush just to add a tiny bit more color to the cheeks so I don't look washed out. So here is our finished look with the bright red lip. Now I do really like that color, but I want to show you a plum lip color. So I went around the edge of the lips with the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot, and now I'm using the Bite Lip Liner in the shade 034, and this is a really nice muted plum color that's going to go beautifully with this Givenchy, I think that's how you say it, La Rose Perfecto Beautifying Lip Balm, and this is in the shade Cosmic Plum. The packaging is beautiful. It's super weighty. You can see it's a nice slim bullet design. Now this was gifted to me via Givenchy through Octoly. It has a slight little bit of a scent, not my favorite, but it's not as strong as the YSL lipsticks. And you can see there, because it is a balm, I thought it was going to be a little more sheer than it is, but look at that color. It gives off quite a bit of color that can be built up even more. So I'm going to show you just one swipe back and forth on the lower lip, and look at all of that color. Oh my goodness. So I am going to darken it a little bit and layer it up, but this is a really nice formula. It feels very hydrating, slightly thick, but not uncomfortable thick. And it definitely has a bit of a refreshing kind of minty feel on the lips. So it's not painful. It's not a painful tingle plumping type of formula, but it does stay around for a very long time. I wore this the other day for several hours, eating, drinking, and I still had color. And it does make the lips just look really nice and full and smooth. So it is a really nice formula. It's very pricey, but it is really beautiful. And I think it comes in about 6 or 7 shades. So I just thought it would be fun to play with a brighter shade. Here is the finished look. You can see that plum shade on the lips also looks great with the very, very minimal eye look and that pink color on the lips. And the lips do look and feel so moisturized and healthy. So I hope that you enjoyed this. It was fun recreating kind of a little bit of old school Hollywood glam. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.